You ever wondered why the same pain keeps returning to your life? In different forms, different people, different situations, different disappointments. Yet somehow the feeling remains exactly the same. You work hard and still get ignored. You trust someone and they betray you. You give your best and life gives you uncertainty in return. It feels unfair, it feels personal. But what if life is not punishing you? What if life is trying to teach you something? You keep refusing to learn. The Stoics believe that life repeats the same lesson until you finally understand it. And according to them, there is one truth so powerful that the moment you accept it, suffering begins to lose its grip on your mind. In this video, you will discover that truth and learn why life will keep hurting you until you accept it. Stay with me until the end because this idea has the power to completely change the way you see pain, failure, rejection, and even your own future. The truth is simple, but accepting it is one of the hardest things a human being can do. Most people spend their entire lives fighting reality. They wake up every morning with a picture in their minds of how life should be. People should respect them. Friends should stay loyal, families should understand them, opportunities should arrive on time. Success should reward effort immediately. And when reality fails to match these expectations, they suffer not because of what happened, but because of the gap between what happened and what they wished had happened. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the source of much human suffering is not events themselves, but our judgments about them. Think about that for a moment. Two people can experience the same setback and react completely differently. One becomes bitter and defeated. The other becomes stronger and wiser. The event was identical. The difference was the interpretation. Life hurts because we expect it to obey our plans. We believe that if we are good, life should be good to us. If we work hard, results should arrive exactly when we want them. If we love someone, they should love us back. But reality has never signed that agreement. Reality follows its own laws. The first truth you must accept is that life is not designed around your preferences. It is not here to satisfy your expectations. It is not here to protect your comfort. Life simply is. This idea sounds harsh at first, but it is actually liberating. Because the moment you stop demanding that reality be different, you stop creating unnecessary suffering. Imagine standing in a storm and screaming at the rain to stop. The rain does not care, the storm continues. Your anger changes nothing. Now imagine opening an umbrella instead. The storm remains the same, but your response changes everything. Most suffering comes from arguing with reality. We say this should not have happened. He should not have left, I should not have failed. They should not treat me this way. But every time you say should, you are fighting something that already exists. The Stoics understood a powerful principle. What has happened was always going to happen, because it already happened. No amount of resistance can erase it. No amount of complaining can rewrite yesterday. Yet many people spend years emotionally trapped in events they cannot change. They replay conversations. They relive betrayals, they imagine alternate outcomes. They become prisoners of a past that no longer exists. Life keeps hurting them because they refuse to accept what already is. Acceptance does not mean approval. Acceptance does not mean weakness. Acceptance simply means seeing reality clearly. If someone betrayed you, accept that it happened. If you failed, accept that it happened. If life changed your plans, accept that it happened. Only then can you move forward. The second truth is even more uncomfortable. You are not in control of most things. This truth terrifies the human ego. We want certainty, we want guarantees. We want control, but look around. Can you control what other people think about you? Can you control the weather? Can you control the economy? Can you control aging? Can you control whether someone remains loyal forever? The answer is no, and yet people exhaust themselves trying. They spend years trying to control opinions, outcomes, relationships, and circumstances that were never theirs to control. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you separate what is within your control from what is outside it. Your thoughts, choices, actions, and attitudes belong to you. Everything else does not. The problem is that most people reverse this. They neglect what they can control and obsess over what they cannot. They cannot control whether someone appreciates them, yet they spend all day seeking approval. They cannot control whether success arrives tomorrow, yet they worry endlessly about the future. They cannot control other people's behavior. Yet they become angry every time someone disappoints them. This creates endless suffering. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Every stone represents something outside your control. Other people's opinions, future outcomes. Past mistakes, random events, the longer you carry them, the more exhausted you become. The Stoic solution is simple. Put the stones down, focus only on what belongs to you. Your character, your effort, your discipline, your response. Your integrity, everything else is borrowed territory. The moment you accept this truth, life becomes lighter. You stop trying to manage the impossible. There is another reason life keeps hurting people. They become attached to things that were never meant to stay forever. They attach themselves to youth, relationships, success, money, status, comfort, and even specific versions of themselves. Then when change inevitably arrives, they experience pain as if something unfair has happened. But the Stoics constantly reminded themselves of one reality. Everything is temporary. Every person you love is temporary. Every possession you own is temporary. Every achievement is temporary. Even your own life is temporary. At first this sounds depressing, but it is actually one of the most freeing truths you can accept. When you understand that everything is temporary, you stop taking things for granted. You become grateful instead of entitled. You appreciate instead of clinging. You enjoy instead of demanding permanence. The person who accepts change suffers less because they understand that change is not a mistake in life. Change is life. Think about nature. Seasons change, trees lose their leaves. Rivers keep moving, day becomes night and night becomes day. Nothing stays the same. Yet humans often expect permanence in a world built entirely on change. They want people to remain exactly the same forever. They want circumstances to remain comfortable forever. They want success without setbacks and happiness without pain. But life does not work that way. The more you resist change, the more life hurts you, the more you accept change, the stronger you become. This is why many people feel devastated. When life takes something away from them, they are not only grieving the loss itself, they are grieving the illusion that they ever owned it permanently. The Stoics understood that everything we have is on loan from life. One day life gives it, another day life takes it back. The wise person enjoys what they have while they have it. But they never forget that nothing belongs to them forever. This mindset creates incredible resilience. Because when loss comes, and eventually it always does, they are saddened but not destroyed. They are disappointed but not broken. They understand that loss is not an exception to life. It is part of life. Another truth people struggle to accept is that pain is often a teacher. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They avoid difficult conversations. They avoid risks. They avoid challenges. They avoid responsibility. They avoid failure, but by avoiding pain, they also avoid growth. The Stoics believe that obstacles are not interruptions to the path. Obstacles are the path. Every difficulty carries a lesson. Every setback develops strength. Every challenge reveals character. Imagine a sword being forged in fire. Without heat, pressure, and struggle, the metal remains weak. Human beings are no different. Adversity shapes us, difficulty strengthens us. Pain teaches us, yet when pain arrives, most people immediately ask, why is this happening to me? The better question is, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift changes everything. Suddenly, pain becomes a teacher instead of an enemy. Failure becomes feedback instead of proof of inadequacy. Rejection becomes redirection instead of humiliation. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. Life keeps hurting people because they keep rejecting the lessons hidden inside their struggles. They focus only on escaping discomfort instead of learning from it. And so the same lessons return again and again in different forms. The same patterns repeat, the same mistakes reappear. The same emotional wounds reopen. Not because life hates them, but because life is still teaching the lesson they refuse to learn. There is another hard truth that many people never accept. The world does not owe you anything. This statement can sound cruel, but it is deeply empowering. Many people secretly believe that life owes them fairness. They believe they deserve success because they work hard. They believe they deserve loyalty because they are loyal. They believe they deserve happiness because they are good people. But life makes no such promises. Sometimes good people suffer. Sometimes dishonest people succeed. Sometimes effort goes unrewarded. Sometimes luck changes everything. The person who expects life to be fair becomes angry every time reality disappoints them. The person who accepts that life is not obligated to be fair becomes adaptable. They stop wasting energy on outrage and focus instead on action. They understand that while they cannot control outcomes, they can control how they respond to outcomes. This is where real power begins. Real power is not forcing life to give you what you want. Real power is remaining steady regardless of what life gives you. Most people become emotionally dependent on external circumstances. If things go well, they feel happy. If things go badly, they feel miserable. Their inner state constantly changes according to external events. The Stoics aimed for something different. They wanted inner stability. They wanted a mind that remained calm during success and failure, praise and criticism, gain and loss. This does not mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming grounded. It means refusing to allow external events to completely control your internal world. Imagine being a ship in the middle of an ocean. Storms will come, waves will rise, winds will change direction. You cannot control the ocean, but you can strengthen the ship. Most people spend their lives trying to calm the ocean. The Stoics spent their lives strengthening the ship. That is the difference. Life will always contain uncertainty. Life will always contain disappointment. Life will always contain pain. But suffering becomes far smaller when you stop demanding that reality be different from what it is. The one truth life keeps trying to teach you is this: accept reality completely and focus only on what you can control. That is it, simple, but not easy. The moment you stop fighting reality, you free enormous amounts of mental energy. The moment you stop demanding certainty, anxiety begins to lose its power. The moment you stop expecting permanence, loss becomes easier to bear. The moment you stop blaming life for being life, you become stronger than most people will ever be. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every day that challenges, difficult people, setbacks, and unexpected events were inevitable because he expected them. He was not shocked when they arrived. Most suffering comes not from reality itself, but from being surprised. That reality behaves exactly as reality always has. Life contains uncertainty. Life contains loss. Life contains struggle. Accepting this does not make you weak. It makes you prepared, and preparation creates peace. So if life keeps hurting you, ask yourself one question. What truth am I still refusing to accept? Perhaps you are refusing to accept that you cannot control other people. Perhaps you are refusing to accept that the past cannot be changed. Perhaps you are refusing to accept that change is unavoidable. Perhaps you are refusing to accept that pain is part of growth. Whatever it is, life will continue presenting the lesson until you finally learn it. The moment you do, something remarkable happens. The same events that once broke you begin to strengthen you. The same situations that once caused panic begin to create wisdom. The same challenges that once felt unbearable become opportunities for growth. Life has not changed. Reality has not changed. The world has not changed. You have changed, and that is where freedom begins. You stop chasing certainty. You stop demanding guarantees. And for the first time, you experience peace. Because peace is not found when life becomes predictable. Peace is found when you stop needing life to be predictable. Most people think strength comes from controlling the world. The Stoics believed strength comes from controlling yourself. And that changes everything. The final truth that separates strong people from weak ones is the understanding that no one is coming to save you. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for motivation, waiting for support, waiting for someone to recognize their value, waiting for life to become easier. But while they wait, life continues moving forward. The Stoics understood that responsibility is the foundation of freedom. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. This does not mean everything that happened to you was your fault. It means your future is now your responsibility. There is a powerful difference between fault and responsibility. Perhaps someone hurt you, perhaps someone betrayed you. Perhaps life treated you unfairly. That may not be your fault. But healing is still your responsibility. Growth is still your responsibility. Your future is still your responsibility. Many people remain trapped because they keep focusing on who caused their pain. The Stoics focused on what they would do next. They understood that dwelling on blame changes nothing. Action changes everything. Every morning you have a choice. You can focus on what happened to you, or you can focus on what you will become because of what happened to you. One path creates bitterness. The other creates strength. The reality is that life is not testing your comfort. It is testing your character. Anyone can remain calm when everything goes according to plan. Anyone can feel confident when success is guaranteed. Anyone can be positive when circumstances are easy. Character is revealed when things become difficult. Character is revealed when nobody is watching. Character is revealed when life refuses to cooperate with your expectations. This is why the Stoics viewed hardship differently from most people. They saw challenges as opportunities to practice virtue. When insulted, they practiced patience. When rejected, they practiced resilience. When faced with uncertainty, they practiced courage. Every difficulty became training. Imagine entering a gym. The weights are heavy. The exercises are uncomfortable. The effort is exhausting. Yet nobody complains that the weights are too heavy, because that is precisely what creates strength. The Stoics viewed life's difficulties in the same way. They understood that challenges develop the mental and emotional muscles required for a meaningful life. Without challenges, there is no growth. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without adversity, there is no wisdom. Life keeps hurting people because they expect comfort to make them stronger. But comfort rarely produces strength. Comfort produces dependence. Strength is born from overcoming difficulty. Think back to the hardest periods of your life. At the time, they may have felt unbearable. You may have questioned yourself. You may have doubted your future. You may have wondered whether you would ever recover. Yet if you look honestly, many of your greatest lessons came from those moments. Your deepest wisdom often came from your deepest pain. Your greatest growth often came from your greatest struggles. This is not an accident. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions. It forces you to see reality more clearly. It forces you to discover strengths you never knew existed. It forces you to become the person comfort never could have created. Another lesson life keeps trying to teach is that your worth is not determined by external validation. This is one of the biggest traps of the modern world. People constantly seek approval. They want praise, they want recognition, they want admiration, they want others to confirm their value. But the problem with building your self-worth on external approval is that you become dependent on things you cannot control. If people praise you, you feel valuable. If people criticize you, you feel worthless. Your emotional state becomes controlled by strangers. The Stoics rejected this entirely. They believed that your worth comes from your character, not from public opinion. A person of integrity remains valuable, whether they are praised or criticized. A disciplined person remains admirable, whether they are noticed or ignored. A wise person remains wise even when nobody applauds them. This creates tremendous freedom, because once you stop needing everyone's approval, you become capable of living according to your principles, instead of other people's expectations. Many people never become who they are meant to be, because they are too busy trying to become who others want them to be. They sacrifice authenticity for acceptance. They sacrifice growth for comfort. They sacrifice purpose for approval. Then they wonder why they feel empty. Life keeps hurting them, because they continue abandoning themselves in order to please others. The Stoic path is different. It asks you to develop an inner compass. It asks you to measure your life according to your values, rather than public opinion. It asks you to focus on becoming excellent, rather than appearing successful. When you do this, criticism loses much of its power. Praise loses much of its influence. You become more stable because your identity is rooted internally, rather than externally. There is also a final lesson hidden inside every struggle. Time is limited. Every human being knows they will die. Yet most live as if they have unlimited time. They postpone their dreams. They delay important conversations. They wait for the perfect moment. They assume there will always be another opportunity. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of mortality, not because he was pessimistic, but because he wanted to live fully. When you remember that life is finite, trivial concerns begin to disappear. Petty arguments lose importance. Meaningless drama loses influence. The opinions of difficult people become less significant. You start focusing on what truly matters. You become more intentional, more grateful, more courageous, more alive. The awareness of death teaches you how to live. It reminds you that every day is valuable. Every conversation matters. Every opportunity is precious. The Stoics did not fear death as much as they feared wasting life. They understood that a long life is not necessarily a meaningful life. Meaning comes from how you live, not from how long you live. So if life keeps hurting you, perhaps it is not trying to destroy you. Perhaps it is trying to awaken you. Perhaps every disappointment is teaching detachment. Perhaps every failure is teaching resilience. Perhaps every uncertainty is teaching trust. Perhaps every loss is teaching gratitude. Perhaps every challenge is teaching strength. The greatest transformation begins when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That single question changes your relationship with suffering. It turns pain into wisdom. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns adversity into growth. And eventually you reach a point where life still brings challenges. But those challenges no longer control you. You still experience pain, but pain no longer defines you. You still face uncertainty, but uncertainty no longer terrifies you. You still encounter loss, but loss no longer destroys your spirit. Why? Because you finally accepted the truth life was trying to teach all along. Reality does not exist to satisfy your expectations. Your peace depends on accepting what you cannot control and mastering what you can. Once you understand this, life may still hurt you from time to time, but it will never break you the way it once did. And that is the moment you become truly free.